ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। नमस्ते शंकरानंद गुरुपादाम्बुजन्मने सविलास महामोह ग्राहग्रासैक कर्मणे। Yesterday we entered into a important topic. What was that topic? In 123rd verse, यथा संवादि विभ्रांति फलकाले प्रमायते विद्यायते तथा उपास्ति मुक्तिकाले अतिपाकतः. Now, what is samvadi brahma? Beneficial error. Two examples were given in the beginning of this text. One is fire on the mountain. They saw a mist. Mist is not smoke, but he misunderstood mist to be smoke. First mistake. Then he thought there must be a fire. When he went there was fire. Fire cannot produce the mist. Fire produces smoke only. That mist is created out of some boiling water. Stove is there. Fire is there. Water is boiling. Mist is created. So though he has understood it's a mist, smoke, samvadi brahma, beneficial error, it has actually led him to fire only. Similarly, Mani Prabha, though it is not, though he saw it is a Prabha only, light only, but he thought it is money. He went there and he got money. So there is a beneficial error. So now what we have to understand is yatha samvadi vibhranti palakale prami. When the samvadi brahma having reached there, it becomes knowledge. You found money or you found fire there. It has become knowledge. Similarly, meditation on Brahman, tatha upastihi, muktikale atipakata. Similarly, upasana, when we meditate on Brahman, when the upasana becomes fructified, that leads to jnana vritti, knowledge of Brahman. That is real knowledge, and because of which he liberates himself. Mukti kale, at the time of liberation, this fructifies. Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, fructifies into Nirguna Brahma Jnanam. Jnana Vritti it is got. Now, How an upasana vritti, this is a subject now which is going into discussion for a couple of slokas till the end of the chapter. How this upasana vritti, upasana is a thought. How does this gets converted into jnana vritti? This is a question. Because we saw upasaka also repeats aham brahmasmi vritti. Jnanam also is a vritti only. Because any knowledge takes place, I will be repeating this again and again in the form of vritti only. But once the jnana vritti takes place, when jnana takes place, afterwards vritti is not necessary. That we saw many examples. So there is no vritti necessary after after gaining the part knowledge. There is no part thought necessary every time to recall that knowledge. Not necessary. Okay. But then so, how is that we say this vritti, upasana vritti, gets converted into jnana vritti? That is a topic. So, the question is, if you say upasana vritti takes me to jnanam, if you say upasana takes me to jnanam, like upasana becomes what? Pramana. Pramana is what? Means. It becomes a means for gaining knowledge. But the question is, the Purvapakshi will raise question, this discussion will come now, the coming slokas. How come upasana vritti becomes pramana? It cannot be pramana. Why upasana is not pramana? Because upasana is what? Manasam karma. And we got 6 pramanas in Vedanta. In that, upasana is not considered as pramana. Pratyaksha, Anumana, Shabda, all these pramanas are there. In that, pramana means of knowledge. Like when I see an object, what is the means of knowledge? Their eyes. So with the eyes, I can see the form. Suppose there is a flower. Example I'm giving you. I saw a flower from a distance. Then I saw it is a rose flower. Rose. How did I see and notice it? Through eyes. But now I have to discover further. In the case of flower, I'm talking. Is eyes is a real pramana? Can I trust my eyes for that knowledge that it is a rose flower? So I went nearer the rose. Because today the Kali Yugam, many things are appearing as flower, but it is not a flower. It could be plastic flower. From a distance, it is looking like a rose. So I went nearer by. So what is second pramana? Smell. Rose smells, fragrance of rose is coming there. Rose fragrance. So one eyes I saw, fragrance also I got. Still, it is not prabala pramana. It is not, I cannot surely, confirmingly say it is rose because it must have been sprayed also. Smell may have been sprayed there. So when I touch, I would know whether it is a plastic or real flower. So in this case I'm talking. What is prabala pramana? Touch here. So what is the pramana here? In Upasana vritti, pramana means it should become right pramana to get Brahma Jnanam, Jnana vritti. But upasana is not mentioned in the 6 pramanas. And mind also cannot be the pramana because it also cannot produce jnana vritti by itself. Mind is only assisting the 6 pramanas, Without eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, where can mind function? Tell me. Similar without pramanas. So my mind only assists the pramanas. So the question is now, upasana vritti cannot directly convert itself into jnanam, brahma jnanam, nirguna brahma jnana vritti. It cannot be converted. So my question is, when doing upasana, how can that lead to realization or jnana vritti? That's the question. Because all upasanas come under karma abhyasa, manasa karma. Nirguna Brahma upasana also is a manasa karma only. And what is the role of karma upasana? Upasana role is to remove the obstacles by creating punya. So when through upasana, what Vedanta says is, through upasana, when antakarna shuddhi takes place, this is Vedanta prakriya, Vedanta declaration. Through upasana, when antakarna shuddhi takes place, then that Vyakti, the seeker, the mind, should be exposed to Mahavakya Vichara, inquiry into who I am, what is my nature. Mahavakya is identity between Jivatma and Paramatma. So this Upasaka has to go back to inquiry. Like Ramana Maharshi says, who am I? Inquiry. In Vedanta, we say that, Mahavakya Vichara. How can I am Brahman? Aham Brahmasmi. Who is Aham? What is Brahma? What is the meaning of Asmi? I am Atma Brahma. What is the meaning of I am? What is the meaning of Atma? What is the meaning of Brahma? How come this Jivatma and Brahma, Paramatma can be one? Tattvamasi. What is the meaning of Tat? What is the meaning of Tvam? What is the meaning of Asi? Inquiry. So mind becomes totally introverted and started deep inquiry. So out of that Sravana Manana inquiry, the knowledge or jnana vritti takes place. Ultimately, when I inquire, who am I? That is meditation. You call it as, that is not, inquiry. Inquiry is deeper. Meditation means upasana, we keep it. So when the once the upasana का द्वारा मंथककरण की शुद्धि पूर्णतः हो जाती है, तब हमको क्या करना है? फिर महावाक्यो विचारम करते हैं. वेदांत में प्रक्रिया है. अच्छा, इसे पहले नहीं सुना क्या? टीचर से सुना था. सुन तो लिया, but it did not produce jnanam because of obstacles. So Guru spoke, but jnanam did not take place. Like example, I give you something example. Suppose teacher is explaining, any teacher you take, any laukika teacher you take, physical science or chemistry, materialistic teachers in schools, academic teachers. Certain complicated subjects are there. Some mathematics are there, or some physics is there, chemistry is there, some science subjects, any science subject. The student is listening but not understanding, not grasping it. Because of some thought obstructions, because of some obstacle in the mind, not able to grasp it. So he thinks about it. Teacher again repeats. Maybe in second time, third time, or 10th time, when teacher repeating, suddenly it gets the flash. Oh, now I understood. That is called jnana vritti. Once he understood through a thought only, afterward vritti is not necessary. Entire jnanam he got it. Then what happened? He was refined by focusing himself on completely concentration. He got refined inside. Therefore, same statement. That's why people say that, first time you hear one meaning. Second time you hear little purification, little deeper meaning. Third time you hear little deeper meaning. Fourth time you hear little deeper meaning. So first time he heard in the entire Upanishads and Mahavakya. But then teacher said, now you have to start Upasana also, because it did not produce jnanam. Otherwise, when purified teacher is there, only once teacher says you are Brahman, like it happened with Nisargadatta Maharaj. One satsang only attended. Teacher said Aham Brahmasmi is the fact. He came back and started Upasana. Very quickly understood what that I am Brahman. Full stop. Because of so many lives, he was purified. So Upasana, Saguna Upasana, one Nirguna Upasana is Shreshtam. We saw yesterday. So when Nirguna Upasana is nearer to Brahma Vidya, Brahma Jnanam, but this Upasana purifies me. When that purification takes place, when teacher speaks, immediately, instantly, I get that Jnana Vritti, Jnanam is produced. Meaning produced means not Karya Karana. So Jnana Swayam Prakasha we said. So this Upasana, Antakarna Shuddhi, then the Avidya is removed through Vritti, Brahmakara Vritti, then Brahman is revealed. So first he heard mantra, Mahavakyas, Upasana he did, purification he attained. Again he started listening to Mahavakya Vichara, inquiry started, then he got Jnanam. So this sequence is what is going to be explained in depth now, in coming shlokas. Okay, so we should start 124th verse. Now the Purapakshi says, raises a question. Samvadit Brahmata Pumsaha Pravruttasyanyamanatāha Prameti Chetathopastihi Mantare Karanayatam. See, Samvadi Brahmataha Pumsaha, a man. Samvadi Brahmataha. On account of, because of Samvadi Brahma, he was thinking about this, the Samvadi Brahma he got, contemplating on Nirguna Brahma, etc. Samvadi Brahmataha. Purpakshi says, he will not get direct knowledge. No, that Samvadi Brahma leads him, listen very carefully, Samvadi Brahma leads him to another pramana. Through that pramana, he gets the knowledge. So, Samvadi Brahma, Upanishad, Upasana, directly not producing Jnana Vritti. Who says? Purapakshi says. Because Upasana cannot, as we just now we saw, Upasana cannot directly take me to Jnana Vritti. It is not possible. So Upasana will lead up to some extent, some height, where another pramana is given to you. Because of that pramana, you are getting that Jnanam. So Purvapakshi raising question. How can Samvadi Brahma or Upasana lead seeker to Jnanam? So in examples also, Maniprabha, one Maniprabha will take. First he got wrong Anumana, inference. In the case of Agni, you take Agni. Inference wrong. Mystery talks or then he thought it is a fire. Then he went there. The wrong inference. It is not a mist actually. It is a smoke maybe. He wrongly understood. Or he saw mist. He thought it is smoke. Mist he saw. He thought it is smoke. But he went there. He found smoke. So he found fire. Ultimately, he discovered Agni. By what? Prachaksha Pramana. By eyes he discovered. So this inference, Anumana, Samvadi Brahma, led this man to that place, and there he had which Pramana he found out it is fire? Through Prachaksha Pramana, through eyes he saw that it is fire. So this Samvadi Brahma led him to another Pramana called Prachaksha Pramana or eyes. Through that Prachaksha Pramana, he got that knowledge that it is fire. Similarly, Maniprabha also, he went there, finding out what is that light. He perceived it wrongly, but then he went there. Ultimately, money was discovered. Discovered by what? By Chakshu. He saw after going there. So what? Samvadi Brahma did not give him that complete knowledge of diamond, money. Samvadi Brahma led him to another Pramana called Prachaksha Pramana in the case of eyes here also. So he says, when you do Upasana, how can this Upasana produce Nirguna Brahma Jnanam? That's what he says. So Vijayaranya says, yes, you are right. Nirguna Brahma Upasana will not produce Jnana Vritti. Agreed. Nirguna Brahma Upasana, like in the case of Agni and Mani examples, fire and diamond examples, Mani example, it led me to another Pramana called ice, and because of the ice I discovered ultimately it is fire or Mani. So whatever is relevant there to experience that relevant Pramana is manifested, or this Upasana took me there. And through that relevant Pramana, I got it. So what is relevant Pramana here? Mahavakya Vichara is a relevant Pramana. Ultimately, Mahavakya Vichara, inquiry into the nature of Brahman, nature of Atman, that tapasya, that inquiry will lead you to realization. So Nirguna Brahma Upasana cannot directly produce Upasana, knowledge. So, therefore, Purvapakshi says, Samvadi Brahma cannot produce Jnana. Okay. So, in that case, by another means of knowledge, in that case, the meditation on Nirguna Brahma also becomes a cause for what? For the direct, immediate self-knowledge. But it leads to another Pramana actually. That's what Purvapakshi says. So this is how we have to understand this very clearly technical thing. So Nididhyasana is leading to direct realization. See, meditation on that absolute Brahman, Nirguna Brahma, it becomes a cause For what? For other evidence. This is what we discuss, no? Vijayamuni says, yes, but Nirguna Brahma directly will not produce Jnana Vritti, but Nirguna Brahma Upasana is not directly producing Jnana Vritti. Nirguna Brahma Upasana becomes a cause. Cause for what? For another evidence, for another Praman. Suppose to know Brahman, right pramana is necessary. To gain any knowledge, we need right pramana. Sometimes eyes is a pramana, sometimes nose is a pramana, right pramana. In worldly things. To know Brahman also pramana is required. Number one. That pramana, which is Jnana Vritti, Akanda Brahmakara Jnana Vritti is there, no? That Vritti is required. But that Vritti is not directly produced by Upasana. Nirguna Brahma Upasana will take you to another Pramana, means by which one will discover Brahman. So there is some intermediate step is there. उपासना करते रहोगे, करते रहेंगे, करते रहेंगे, करते रहोगे, अंतःकरण शुद्धि भी हो जाएगी, तो वो कहां लेके जाएगी आपको? सही प्रमाण तक. तो उस सही प्रमाण के द्वारा वो सही ज्ञान मिलेगा. तो सही प्रमाण कार्य हो गया, इफेक्ट हो गया, और कारण क्या बना? निर्गुण ब्रह्म उपासना. चेत तथा उपास्तिम अंतरे कारणायता. It will take you to another evidence. For the सही प्रमाण के लिए उपासना एक कारणम बनता है. So I hope you understood. Right? So now, मूर्ति ध्यानस्य मंत्रादेः अपि कारणता यदि अस्तु नाम तथाप्यत्र प्रत्यासक्तिर्विशिष्यते. Now, a student, then I thought so. All these years I've been thinking by upasana, by Nirguna Brahma upasana, I will get one day realization. मैं तप कर रहा हूँ, सोच रहा हूँ, पढ़ रहा हूँ, किताबें पढ़ता हूँ, शास्त्र पढ़ता हूँ, सोचता हूँ, मंथन करता हूँ, चिंतन करता हूँ, मनन करता हूँ, उस पर ध्यान लगाता हूँ. अभी आप कह रहे हो कि वो it will not give me realization. ज्ञान वृत्ति it will produce. It doesn't happen like that. Upasana directly, it doesn't produce jnana vritti. Now he says, Murti dhyanasya mantradehi api karanata yadi. If I say, Murti dhyana, meditation on the deity, form of a deity, Murti, Vishnu, Shiva form, I can meditate. Or mantra japa I can do. That also will lead me to pramana, right pramana. Why can't I say that? Why only Nirguna Brahmopasana? Saguna Brahmopasana or mantra japa may also take me to the goal, lead me to the goal. Jarvan says, Astu Nama, let it be so. We are not saying no. You do mantra japa, you do saguna puja, aradhana, puja. That also will lead you to eventually to the goal. Tathapi atra pratyasakti vishishyate. Because this Nirguna Brahma Upasana is glorified, because it is very nearer to self-realization. Otherwise, teacher first told what Upasana or Nirguna Brahma Upasana leads you to Nirguna Brahma Jnanam. We understood, oh, very good. It somehow miracle happens, something happens, so I get Jnanam, I get realization that I am Brahman. Now he has put in intermediate one step in between. It will Nirguna Brahma Upasana is the cause, effect is the right kind of evidence or pramana. Through that right kind of pramana, Akanda Brahmakara Uttida Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam takes place. So what is the right pramana here? Mahavakya Vichara is the right pramanam. So to do this, very subtle operation it is. Sukshmaya, Sukshma Darshabhi, Buddhi, Sukshma Buddhi is required. Buddhigrahyam Atindriyam. It's not Indriyam Jnanam. Buddhigrahyam. So Sukshma intellect is required to understand the truth. That's the means. Through that Sukshma intellect, when I start thinking about Aham Brahmasmi Vritti or Upadhi, Mahavakya contemplations on that, Vichara, inquiry, when all obstacles are removed, the truth is revealed. So Saguna Upasaka is there, Karma Yogi is there. It takes a lot of, so many obstacles are there, desires are there, wishes are there, anticipations are there, judgments are there, so many paradigms are there in the intellect. He has to do Karma Yoga, a lot of Karma Yoga, do. Then afterwards he promoted to Saguna Upasana, some kind of puja, path. Karo. बाद में then he still refined, then he start thinking on the statements of Upanishads. Upanishad study. Upanishad maybe still highest is what? Shikara is Mahavakyas. Mahavakya Vichara. So many Mahavakyas are there. Because it becomes so Sukshma now. And that Mahavakya Vichara, ultimate to the Nirguna Upasana, it does first. Saguna Upasana, Nirguna Upasana, then Mahavakya Vichara. Mahavakya Vichara to the truth is revealed. Oh, one day means suddenly means that I recognize that I am this. That dawns on me. Jnana Vritti is created. So Upasana Vritti to Vakya Vichara to Jnana Vritti. So Vakya Vichara, Mahavakya Vichara is intermediate step, which cannot be avoided. So he was actually disappointed. Nirguna Brahma Upasana also lead you to Vichara. Then why not Saguna Upasana also lead me to Vichara? Why should I go Nirguna Brahma Upasana? Saguna Upasana also is enough. Mantra Japa also will take me, purify me and all. Teacher says, yes, Karma Yoga also will eventually lead me to moksha. Yes, all is correct. But in the steps the nearest thing is what? Nirguna Brahma Upasana. That is nearer to what? Qualification that you acquire to do Sahi Dhang se in a proper manner Mahavakya Vichara. So Nirguna Brahma Upasana is a closer. So the more we refined, more our sadhana refines. They get dropped. We don't have to drop any lower sadhanas. Everything is a sadhana only. But as we evolve, all lower things get dropped, and then more and more meditation, more and more japa, more and more dhyana, it happens. What is the situation there? The mind easily sits there for longer time. Nirguna Brahmopasana can be done. The deep meditators, they are all deep meditators. Nirgunopasanam pakvam samadhisyat shanaistatah yas samadhir nirodhakyah sonayasena labhyate. Now, he says, Nirguna upasanam pakvam samadhisyat shanaihi. Slowly, Nirguna upasana when we do, intense meditations we do, and that leads to some kind of pakva sthiti, fructified, ripened state. Then it leads to samadhi. And this samadhi mein, this single point, that completely absorbed in the thought of that I am Brahman. That's it, one single thought. No disturbance. That samadhi is called what? That intense tapasya, intense focus. Leads to what? Nirodha. Nirodha means what? Druk, drushya, subject and object, dichotomy is dissolved. So when a student goes desiring, wishing to know Brahman, he wants to focus more and more. And he goes to teacher to listen to scriptures first. So he goes to teacher and listens from teacher. Then he practices Omkara Japa, Soham, Ahamasmi Brahma, Ahamasmi, Sohamasmi Brahma, Ahamasmi. Like that, He contemplates on these mantras. He's repeating it. His upasana is doing it. And because of this intense sadhana, now automatically, yama, niyama, automatically, the mind is withdrawn. So asana siddhi also you will get. Like Patanjali Yoga Sutras. Asana siddhi you get. Dharana you get. Dhyana you get. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana. Samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi also we get. The Brahman is revealed. Thereafterwards, still we have to do sadhana. So small, small, subtlest, subtlest, whatever the vrittis are there, thoughts are there, samskaras are there, vasanas are there. कहीं कहीं छुपी होती है सारे उन सारों को भस्म हो गए in the sadhana. Samadhi is what? Absorption. In Savikalpa Samadhi, effort is required. Nirvikalpa, automatically, naturally, mind withdraws. One command is given to mind, withdraw, mind withdrawn, completely withdraws. So Mahayogis have mastered this. So Nirvikal Samadhi is not final. Sahaja Samadhi is the other name is Sahaja Sama, Sahaja Avastha. Ramana Maharshi gave example. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, suppose there is a well and you tie a rope to a bucket. And what do? There's a pulley is there, pulley. So through that pulley, you release the bucket in the water. So then you do like this for 2-3 times and then the bucket tilts and the water goes into the bucket slowly. And at one point what happens? Rope is there. So bucket is fully drowned in the water, well water. Well water is up to the brim. Bucket is completely under the water. Right? Completely drowned. But there is a rope, no, which can be brought out. It can be pulled up. So when it is drowned, that's called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he said. It can come out again. That says, small, before that ultimate jnanam takes place. Once jnanam takes place, he need not be in samadhi, he can involve in the worldly activity, the jnanam doesn't go. He is always in sahaja avastha. So Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a very nearest to that. Only what he must make it that samadhi, the ultimate should be converted into jnana. And there he inquires, who am I? What is the real nature? And that inquiry is supreme inquiry, very subtlest inquiry. I'm example giving, some small example to make us understand. Suppose there is a idli, sambar, chutney in the plate. One who had not heard about idli word, sambar word, never seen anything, absolutely totally ignorant. When he sees that idli and somebody said it is called idli, it is called sambar, it is called chutney, it is to be eaten like this. So he has got knowledge. What knowledge? This is white and round is idli, that is sambar, this color, that color, so everything is got. But you show the same plate to somebody knowledgeable man. In idli means he is remembering the contents of idli also. Sambar means he understood what kind of contents with which sambar is prepared. And what is this kind of chutney it is? What is it with which made up of? That knowledge he has got. Internal knowledge he has got. Who? A jnani. He understands. Samanya jnani. But still another greater man is there. Very perfect cook is there. So cook, the moment he sees, he will understand the ingredients and also the formula. The other man only knows ingredients. But the cook knows how it is prepared, what is the formula of the mixture, when butter is made, what it contains, what should be the ratio. All these things knowledge he has got. So Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not the final, but he has got that kind of the Akhanda Brahmakara, that is the Brahma Jnana Vritti is there, not even fully formed. He has got purified himself, is absorbed. But then he must get knowledge, oh, this is me. That's final knowledge he has to get. One step before. In Saguna Upasana, Somebody Bhakta is a Rama Bhakta, Krishna Bhakta, he may get totally identified with them. Bhagavan, Krishna, Rama, etc. Completely merged. But you must realize that Krishna is Brahma Tattvam, infinite Brahman. So Nirodha Sthiti is absolutely necessary. Nirvikalpa Samadhi he achieves by constant practice. Anayasena labhyate. So because of this Nirantara Nirguna Brahma Upasana, contemplation, meditation on attributeless Brahman, what happens there afterwards? It leads to Nirvikalpa Samadhi, effortlessly, anayasena labhyate. Like Ramana Maharshi, Tapon Maharaj. They have reached beyond, of course. They were in Samadhi, but then they also gone beyond. Thereafter they became Sahaja. Not that only they withdraw, they're soaked in that state. When they come out, no, it continues 24/7, that is there. Nirodha labhe pumsontaha asangam vastu shishyate punah punarvasitesmin vakya jayate tattvadhihi. Now, when this activity, mental manovritti, no, nirodha, cessation of thoughts, achieved, see, our minds are agitated. Minds are agitated. What is the cause of agitation? Unfulfilled desires, hopes, ambitions, expectations from the world. What is the karana for that? Ambitions, expectations, desires, etc. Vasanas. So, imagine the mind is a pool and lot of so many vasanas are there. Each vasana, you imagine like a frog settled under the bottom of the lake or mind pool. There are so thousands and lakhs of frogs are there. Vasanas are there. And we don't know what kind of frogs are lying down inside. Vasanas are lying. When these frogs open their mouth and release that air, bubbles come to surface. And surface disturbed. Suppose imagine out of thousands of frogs, about 500, hundreds of frogs suddenly open their mouth. How much agitation is caused at surface level? So when you say, when is that this mental pool will remain peaceful? When no frog is left inside. No vasana is left inside. All selfish vasanas only agitate more. Any type of vasana. Even I want to do good, but through good, my selfishness is what? Name, fame, recognition. I want to be happy, feel good factor. That also is selfishness. So many vasanas are disturbing me. Because of this Saguna Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Upasana, eventually mind becomes peaceful and it reaches Nirodha state, cessation of all kinds of thoughts because no desires are left, selfishness, vasanas are exhausted. Then there is no cause for agitations in the mind. When that state is achieved, when completely all these mental activities are completely stopped, vrittis are no more. Yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. Nirodha abhe pumsaha Antara asangam vastu shishyate. Antaha, inside that, asanga vastu is there. Asanga. What? Atman, which is Nishkriya Atma. No activity inside. Unattached, detached, completely. Nisanga Atma is there. That alone remains in the heart. That alone, Atman alone remains. So once I reach that state, again and again and again and again, I should remain myself in that state. So by contemplating that this is my real state, again and again going back and then remaining, like Ramana Maharshi did same thing. Punah punah vasite asmin vakyat jayate tatvadehi. Again and again you go back to that state of Atman Sthiti and then remain there. So Nirodha means what? The triputi is dissolved. Jnana, Jnaya, Jnata, Jnata, Jnana, Jnaya, triputi completely dissolved. When this is all dissolved, Atman alone remains. And again you go there into that state to firmly establish there. Then Aham Brahmasmi Jnana is produced. Again and again, repeatedly you go there to that state and remain there, remain there, remain there. And remember yourself, remind you that you are Brahman, I am Brahman. Ultimately, in that state of deep meditations, internal peace is achieved. Atman alone remains. And I go back again and again. I stay there in that state. So after a long time, that leads you to Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam is gained. Tattva Jnanam is gained. Then what? Nirvikara Sanga Nitya Swaprakashaika Purnata Buddhau Jhatiti Shastrokta Arohantya Vivadataha. Very beautiful thing. That he afterwards what happens? Nirvikaraha Asangaha Nityaha Swaprakasha Eka Purnata Buddhau Jhatiti. This is very beautiful. Nirvikara, no vikara. Then what? Asangaha, unattached, Atman. Nityaha, eternal. Swaprakasha, self-effulgent. Ekaha, one without a second. Purnata, infinite, being infinite. Shastroktaha, Shastra that are declared in the scriptures. Shastroktaha, Buddhau, Avivadataha, Jhatiti. Instantaneously, without any difficulty, without any confusion, Buddhau, in the firm understanding, in the Buddhau, in the Buddha Vritti, it is clear, crystal clear, it is recognized that I am that Advaita, Arohanti, Avivadataha. It takes place, Arohanti. So that is the state we all must aspire. Aham Brahmasmi. There is no vivada, there is no conflict, there is no doubt. The doubtless knowledge. No difficulty. So it's all, it's all two things. We must purify our heart. We may have made some mistakes in life, doesn't matter. Everybody makes mistakes on the path. There is no Jiva who has reached Brahman in the long course of evolutionary progress without making mistakes. I made, you made, everybody makes. And we have learnt our lessons. Vasanas are there. They create certain kin situations, certain problems, certain desires. It's all purified. So purification. So no, be good, do good. There are basic principles of life. No harming anybody. We go through our life. There's a lot of challenges are there, critical situations. But purification, life after life, purify, purify, purify. In one life, it doesn't happen. So nirvikara, asangaha, nitya, swaprakasha, ekapurnata, buddhau, chetiti, instantaneously arohanti, jetati harohanti, avivadataha, shastrokta, which is supported by shastras. That experience comes. So there are Upanishads that are specifically aim only to achieve this. योगाभ्यासस्त्वेतद अर्थो मृतबिन्द्वादिषु श्रुतः एवं च दृष्टद्वारापि एतद्वादन्यतो वरम्. योगाभ्यासः तु एतदर्थे अमृतबिन्द्वादिषु श्रुतः. योगाभ्यासस्त्वेतदर्थे अमृत बिंद्वादिषु श्रुतः. So in Amrita Bindu Upanishad and other Upanishads, what about it? The purpose of this practice of meditation is exhaustively described in the Upanishads like Amrita Bindu Upanishad. Adishu means many Upanishads. Shrutaha. Evam cha, in this way, upasana, then jnanam, nirguna, nirvikalpa samadhi, drishtadvara, leading to nirvikalpa samadhi api hetutvat anyataha. Because of this reason, nirvikalpa samadhi is superior to other types of worship. Purupakshi asked, no? That is the case, karma also can go and take me to Brahma, the Jnana Vritti. Why Nirguna Brahma Upasana only you are talking about? Nirguna Brahma Upasana is the nearest, and because of that Upasana only, Nirvikalpa Samadhi and Nirvikalpa Samadhi Abhyasa, you can continue establishing in Atman, that is complete Nirodha Sthiti, then Atman alone abides, and then again and again going back to that state. Then Brahmakara, that Jnanam takes place, Jnana Vritti, Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam takes place. And this Upasana, this meditation has been mentioned in many Upanishads. The very objective of this Upanishads is what? To make us understand that we are Brahman. So this is Dushtadvara. Very crystal clear in this path. Therefore, meditation, hetutvat anyato varam. Because of this reason alone, meditation on attributeless Brahman is superior to any other types of worship. Omkar Upasana is given in Kathopanishad. So, Saguna Brahma Upasana you do, it will ultimately lead to Shravana. Manana, Mahavakya Vichara. Ultimately, all yogas purify us, lead us to Shravana, Manana, and Nirguna Brahmopasana. Then Sahi Pramana, it leads to Sahi Karakya Mahavakya Vichara again. And through that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, then practice of Nirvikalpa Samadhi, one day, time comes, slowly, Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam takes place. So there is one statement, Sravana Matrena Jnanam Bhavati. Because Sravana you do, Mahavakya Vichara, it will produces Jnanam. Sravana, Manana, everything. So Nirguna Brahmopasana is superior to Saguna Brahmopasana. Saguna Brahmopasana is superior to Karma Yoga. But all these yogas eventually lead us to Mahavakya Vichara, and then deep meditations, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, then it leads us to Aham Brahmasmi Jnana. Okay, here I'll stop here. So in the next series, we will start from 130th shloka. Okay. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.